How is this impacting his future with the team?
Well, I think he's concerned about it. He beat himself up last night in a way I'd never seen him before. He blamed himself for the loss. He blamed himself for the offensive struggles, and he said, he yelled at himself. He said, I got to do something. I got to make a decision. I got to do something. And I think the Lakers actually did a good job of also exploiting their lack of bigs. The teams are starting to figure that out. Because their big fella, forgot his name.
Jones.
No,
Been hurt? Or
no.
With the Lakers?
Yeah.
Zubac.
He looked like an all-star yesterday, but they were all bunnies, so teams are going to start exploiting that. But, yeah, he had a lot of injuries this offseason, and I'm wondering also if he's shaking them off yet.
Well, also, he's a guy who aged. We've talked about Draymond having the kind of game where he's put a lot of miles on himself, and that we thought at some point we're going to start seeing it.
Yeah, and he wasn't young. Remember, he's a 4-year guy from college, so his career started a lot later than a lot of these other guys did. So he's got a lot of mileage on him. But the main thing for him is, I wonder how much that contract is on his mind. That idea.
We know it's on his mind because when he talks at the beginning of the season about I'm going to be Defensive Player of the Year, that's because of the kicker. That if he gets Defensive Player of the Year, then he'll have access to a lot more money. We know he's thinking about it.
Yeah, but it's bleeding over to his play, and that's kind of concerning. My main thing is he can't airball. You can't be that bad on the wide open catch and shoots. But the other thing also, as we talked about earlier, he's so smart and so skilled that if that came to be in a playoff scenario, he's got other things to do. He's got other things in his toolbox to be able to counteract that.
That video is striking.
This is the shot right here that I thought really was like, this is so in his head right now.
Yeah, and that's normally in his wheelhouse.
Yeah.
Now, you guys mentioned
top of the key.
You mentioned injuries, Mark. You mentioned wear and tear, Rachel, right? I mean, or you mentioned mileage. Wear and tear, too, because it's not just the fact that he's put on the mileage or he's been dinged up. But remember, when they go to the death lineup, right? He's at times there are bigs that he's got to guard, right, and deal with all that stuff down there. And he's a big guy, but he's not as big as some of these other guys that are out there that he has to defend, and that takes its toll on him too. But yeah, I think that at the end of the day, the Warriors are going to have to take a hard look, and he's going to have to take a hard look at what the market is because. I mean, he's not a max player, right? Like, there's no question that that's the case.
I mean, I'm interested in
you think he's a max player?
It depends on what team, right? You need only one.
But
I don't think he's a max player for the Warriors.
But not only that, but also the things that he does, right? We talked about Ben Wallace the other day about he should be a Hall of Famer, but because the things that he was elite at, Hall of Fame at, are the things that aren't sexy and aren't obvious, like missing wide open.
He's a no-stats all-star. We talked about Shane Battier. He's a bigger, stronger version of that.
He might be a no-stats max player is what I'm trying to tell you. His defensive impact and his playmaking are elite. Like, you don't see that combination in many guys. It's like him, LeBron,
I will
maybe
say this,
Giannis.
You just need one team. You need one team around the league who has cap space. And by the way, there are going to be a lot of teams playing the musical chairs who've left open their room for the summer of 2019. And guess what? There's not enough chairs to go around, so there's not enough elite players to go around. Somebody is going to feel that pressure. It's like the Knicks signing Amari Stoudemire, even when they couldn't get insurance for him, even when they had to guarantee him, even if he got hurt, because they thought they'd be in the LeBron game in 2010.
2010.
And that like, there's going to be someone out there, if that's what Draymond wants, if he is willing to leave the Warriors because he just wants to get that money, I wouldn't be surprised if somebody out there wants 3-time NBA, maybe it's going to be 4-time NBA champion.
And I joke with him that he had the greatest raise in NBA history. He went from like $850,000 to $15 million. Yeah. He's got 3 rings. If somebody throw some money at him next year, how's he going to say no?
Well, I'll tell you.
I mean, if he wants to keep winning championships, he probably says no, right?
I mean,
he's a great player. Don't get me wrong.
Cousins has laughed with him. He said, like, he's like, Draymond can't go anywhere else. All he knows is this. He doesn't know what it's like to be on a bad franchise. He's like he's in fantasy land.
I'm interested that you said last night you heard him talking differently because we have heard bravado from Draymond for the last month, right? Oh, they just keep leaving me open. You wait and see. So if he's changing his tone, I'm curious if that means a change in his play.